Hey there guys, welcome back to Skirmish Miniature Gaming. It's Luke here, back for another review. We had a few days break from the reviews, just so we could get a couple more bat reps out. So we've got a few more factions of the new factions to talk about for Warcry. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, throw a like on the video, and leave us a comment what you think about the faction, and if you're enjoying stuff on the channel. We've got plenty of new bat reps with all the new Warcry content at the moment. All of the new factions. We're reviewing each faction. We've already now, on this day that I'm recording, we've had the next wave of cards been released, such as Seraphon, Sylvaneth, much more demon content such as Khorne and Nurgle. So there's going to be even more coming. So no better time than now to subscribe, guys. You can also sign up to become a member if you'd like to get access to all the extra battle reports that we're putting out there. We're going to keep pumping it out over the next few weeks with all this new content, as much as we can kind of cope with. But otherwise, this is going to be the Ossiarch Bonereapers faction focus / review. I've got the cards up on screen for you so you can check them out. If I miss names out or I miss a few different things, that's why the cards are there, guys. You know. You can check it out for yourself. You don't need me to baby feed you that. But otherwise, the three different main, you could say, unit types you can choose from for the Bonereapers. You've got the Cavalry Death Riders, so they're like the Cavalry Horsemen. Necropolis Stalkers, they're the big guys with the dual blades. The like Ogre Bone Giants, if you like. And then you've got the Mortek Guard, which are just like your normal skeleton warriors for the Ossiarch Bonereapers, if you're not familiar with them. Otherwise, some fairly strong abilities, but after playing with them, which you can go and check out after this, obviously, like I say, there's a battle report up and one for the members as well, featuring the Bonereapers, played by Pete. We didn't get to see every single ability, we didn't get to see the quad, but we got to see the majority, tried out a good number, and we got to see a good contest against the Iron Jaws, so do check that one out. I think that was more closely matched. The Skaven, not so much, I won't spoil it, but I think they're very elite Bonereapers from what I've seen so far. They don't have the ability, like other death factions, to bring back fighters, like revive fires and spawn new skeletons out of the ground, such as, or like Nighthorn, bringing back chain rasps and things if you need to. But otherwise, we'll start with their abilities. The double for it is Nadirite Weapon. Add 1 to the damage points allocated by each hit and critical hit from attack actions made by this fighter, this activation, that have a range characteristic of 3 or less. Yeah, so that's both attack actions as well. So if you're already in combat, you could use that for both attack actions. And you're adding damage instead of a number of attacks, which is different. I quite like it. I think it's good in the case of your normal skellies, maybe, where you're quite low damage, but you've got more dice to fight with. It's better then to increase your damage because you're likely to get, with more dice, more hits and crits. You've got a better chance of doing it. So then increasing your damage is better than increasing your number of attacks. However, I would say that you're always fishing for crits in Warcry, and I always do prefer the Onslaught option, because then you've got one more chance of rolling that crit too if you're doing 2 attack actions. So I like it. It's different. I like that they've given them a different double to use, and looking at this, any of them can actually use that ability, so it's quite a nice thing to always have a universal double in there. The next double is the shield symbol, which can be used by the normal Bonereapers, like your skeleton warriors. Form shield wall. Until the end of the battle round, add 1 to the toughness characteristic of this fighter. In addition, until the end of the battle round, add 1 to the toughness characteristic of friendly fighters with the bulwark rune mark while they are within 3 inches of this fighter. And the bulwark rune mark is the shield one that I was just on about. Yeah, so I mean, it kind of buffs the fighter that you give it to and then everyone around them. The only one that can't use that, I believe, is the one with the dual blades, because he doesn't have dual blade, because he doesn't have a shield. But yeah, an interesting one. Even the leader, I think, can use that one, so it's interesting. I never find myself using strength or toughness boosting abilities. I just find them very, very situational, and there are just far better abilities to spend your ability dice on, to be honest. But that's that one, I suppose. The next one is a double hunt and kill, the symbol with this skull and like the lightning strikes coming out of it. It can be used by the Stalkers, the big ogres. Hunt and kill. A fighter can use this ability only if there is a visible enemy fighter within 6 inches of them. This fighter makes a bonus move action and must finish closer to the closest visible enemy fighter that they were at the start of the move action. So that's really nice. It's only a double, and it makes the Stalkers really quick getting into combat, especially for an elite type faction. If you think about, it's basically charge for the Iron Jaws, more or less, except for they've got more movement. They've got 5-inch movement, I think, the Stalkers. So it ends up being a bit better than the Iron Jaws charge for a double. Only the Stalkers can use it, but considering they are quite quick compared to the other Bonereapers, it's a nice tactic. I think you'll find yourself using that one quite a bit. It means you can get that free move in, 2 loads of attack actions with both of those big Stalkers. They have a lot of damage output, so it's quite a nice one to use. The next one is the Skull with the Cross, Death Rider Charge. This is obviously for your Cavalry, your Horsemen. Until the end of this fighter's activation, the next time this fighter finishes a move action within an inch of an enemy fighter, pick a visible enemy fighter within an inch of this fighter, allocate a number of damage points equal to the value of this ability. A lot of the new factions have had this ported across from the Iron Golem's Ogre Breacher. The new Ogres have it. I've seen, who else do I know that's got it? Skaven Rat Ogres have it. I think there might be 1 or 2 other new ones. Obviously they've just ported it across and renamed it. I feel this is a bit lazy again by GW, but still cool to have that in there, you know, gives the riders a bit of extra flair and a bit of something to use. But for a triple, I always think for a triple that ability is unless you've got a 666, it's not really worth it. But you never know. It can be good in some situations. I've used it on occasion where it has really pulled clutch for me, and it's actually won me games. So it depends really. It's very situational. The leader ability, there are 2 leader options. There is the normal Bonereaper Skeleton Warrior leader, and then you've got with the shield, and then you've got a Cavalry version. So either of them can use this ability. Unstoppable Advance. Until the end of the battle round, add half the value of this ability, rounding up to the move characteristic of friendly fighters that are in the same battle group as this fighter. So when you make your dagger, shield, hammer, say your leader's in the shield and you've got a Stalker and 2 normal Bonereaper warriors, you're looking at maximum of +3 movement per fighter, which if you're looking at their actual stats, a normal Bonereaper warrior has 3 movements, so you're boosting them to 6 for the whole round. That's pretty good, and that's everybody in the battle group. And obviously there's no aura on that ability, so it doesn't matter where at that point your other fighters from that battle group are. They could be on the opposite side of the field by that point. They'll still get the boost, which I think's better than Warg? No, it's not better than Warg, because Warg adds the full value. But you don't have to be within range. So that is quite handy. I do quite like that ability. I think that is one that you'll definitely end up using as well. Help yourself get over onto objectives, because they're a very slow faction otherwise. So definitely make the most of that one. Then the Piece de Resistance, the quad ability for this faction, which is once again the Stalkers can only use this ability, the big ogres. Blade Strike Aspect. Add the value of this ability to all the attack characteristic of attack actions made by a fighter this activation. So when your Stalkers before they attack, for both attack actions, if you had a quad 6, you'd be adding a value of 6 to each attack action. So let me just get the card out so the Stalkers, for example, the one with the 4 Spirit Blades has 5 attacks. If you had a quad 6, you'd have 11 attacks. Imagine if you're surrounded by a swarm of fighters, or just any fighters to be honest. 11 attacks for each attack action. I personally think this can be very, very strong, because you can auto take out big fighters for sure. Makes them ridiculous. And then even the dual blade one, with just the 2 big blades rather than the 4 spirit blades, has 3 attacks, so that would go to 9 at max. and then you've got even more damage output from that one. So I'm really liking the look of that one. Unfortunately, bit of a spoiler, we didn't see a quad in either of the 2 games we played, which was sad, but I don't believe I even had one either. Could be wrong on that, but I don't think either of us actually had a quad for some reason. It just didn't come out at all, which is a shame, because I think it can be very, 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 very strong, that ability, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Obviously, you then also got the option of Rampage as well, if you want to use Rampage, so I think it's pretty awesome. But otherwise, that is all the abilities specific to Ossiarch Bonereapers. We'll go on to look at the fighter cards. The normal Skelly Warriors. You can see everything above me here, so if I miss anything or you want to see anything, see what I'm talking about, it's all there, guys, so I don't have to cover absolutely everything, otherwise it'll go on for too long. So the normal Skelly Warriors, the guard are you've got, let me just get the normal one out. So the 85 point shield and sword option is 3 movement. All of your warriors are 3 movement. Toughness 5 with the shield though. Only 10 health though. I kind of thought for Bonereapers they might have maybe 5 more health, to be honest, even though obviously it's toughness 5. And when I was playing against Pete in both games, I felt that the warriors went down a bit too easily, to be honest. But hard to say, really, isn't it? Got to have more games with them, really. Obviously, they have that shield, so they can make the shield wall with that ability. Range 1, 3 attacks, strength 3, 1/3 damage, so fairly meh. I suppose he's there more of as a soak up the damage / attacks, because he's got that high toughness, I suppose. Maybe put a couple of them around your leader, who knows. Then you've got the other option, which is the dual blade. I have no idea what these specific weapons are called, by the way, so don't quote me on that. I'm not into full Sigmar, so once again, movement 3, only toughness 4 because there's no shield, 10 health. But this time it's 3 attacks, range 1, strength 4, 2/5 damage, so much better damage. I'm not sure which one I'd take, really. I'd have to have more practice with them, but when I think Pete played the dual blade, and it seemed to do a bit better, to be honest. In all honesty, because yeah, they just do. They just seem to do better. But the leader option for your Mortek Guard is movement 3, toughness 5 because he has the shield, 20 health, pretty good for just a lone standing guy. He has the shield and the leader ability options. Range 1, 4 attacks, strength 4, 2/4 damage. Excuse me. So kind of a crossover between the shield and the dual wielder, but also, obviously better due to the fact he's got another ability option as your leader and 10 more health. So a good choice is the leader option, I feel. Then onto the cavalry. Unfortunately, Pete doesn't have any cavalry yet, so we haven't been able to see them in action. In all honesty, though, we'll get into it now. But personally, for the points, I would rather take Stalkers because they have 2 abilities they can use as opposed to the one specific one that cavalry can use. The only one I might consider is the leader on the horse, purely because it's got more health. So it's 8 movement for the riders, toughness 5 with the shield, 20 health, not bad at all. Range 1, 3 attacks, strength 3, 2/4 damage. 170 points for that shield one. So if you compare that to a Stalker, you spend 30 odd more points. You're getting a Stalker instead. I think it's worth the point spend, but it'd be cool to see a cavalry base list. I would like to see that. Try them out. But they've obviously got that charge ability as well, where if you end a move and spend a 666, you cause 6 damage for free, which can be handy. I'm not going to lie, it can auto take out a model sometimes in certain situations. Only strength 3 though, as well, which kind of sucks. Stalkers are strength 4, I think. Strength 5 with the bigger dudes, strength 4 with the other one. We'll get onto them in a minute. They're too exciting. And then you've got a Pike. This is interesting. So you get a Pike one with a shield is the other option, which is the same stats from what I can see, except for its range 2 on the Pike, 2 attacks, strength 3, 2/5 damage. Personally, I think I might take the Pike there. The only disadvantage you've got is obviously if you're taking the Pike for that ranged advantage, obviously you're not going to be getting the charge ability off because you're not going to be finish your move within an inch, so it kind of defeats that. So it's worth a trial though. And the leader option is 240 points, quite expensive, but 30 health, one equal to the Stalker's health. Toughness 5 still because he's got a shield, movement 8. Obviously he can do the charge ability and the leader ability, so that's pretty good. Range 1, 4 attack, strength 4, so it goes up in strength, 2/4 damage. So more or less the same attacks characteristic, is the same attacks characteristic actually as the leader on foot, but you've obviously got the extra health, the extra movement, and it's more or less it, to be honest. But compared to the leader on the ground, you're spending 60 more points. Yeah, 60 more points. Don't know if that's worth it or not, to be honest. You guys can make up your mind on that. Stalkers, let's get to the awesome stuff here. Oh yeah, sorry, I did also miss, I've got here one of the skeleton warrior options, the guard. There's an 85 point option, yeah, for a pike and shield, so you could do that for range 2 as well. Is an interesting option because at least it keeps you at bay from your opponent. Not a bad choice maybe. But then we get onto the Stalkers. You have the 4 Spirit Blade fighter, who is both movement 5, the 2 options, toughness 4, 30 health, that 30 health, ouch, that's going to take some chewing through. Range 1, 5 attack, strength 4, 2/5 damage, but obviously remember that they've got many more ability options, that quad, you've got that extra movement ability that you can use for a double, and then they've got the generic double as well. And then you can get the leader to boost their movement if you really wanted to as well. You know, get your leader to boost their movement by 3 on a 5 or a 6 value dice on a triple, and then save a double or a quad depending on how lucky you are, to buff your Stalker. And obviously you can give them that free move, so then if their movement's already been buffed by the leader, that's a free 8-inch move to get into wherever you want to get, and then get 2 attack actions off maybe, so that could be brutal. Then you got the dual wielder, who's like the stronger buffer version, I guess. Same stats except for the weapon. The weapons he's holding do range 1, 3 attack, strength 5. So the strength goes up by 1. That's quite interesting. 3/6 damage. So pretty awesome. They're my favourite bit, I think, about the faction. I think Pete would probably agree with me on that. They got some interesting abilities in there. Let me know, guys. That is it for the Ossiarch Bonereapers. What you think about them? Go and check out that bat rep. It should be on screen in a moment or now, to see them in action against the Ironjaws. And then, obviously, like I say, do sign up to become a member and support us as a channel on all the content we're putting out there. We're getting involved on the Warcry forums and things as well, and we get engaged with the community. And we're happy to answer any questions you have. And like I say, leave some comments and throw a like on the video. And join me for the next review that we put up. I think we've got Stormcast and Tzeentch Demons coming up, so do check those out as well. But otherwise, guys, thanks for watching. That's been the Ossiarch Bonereapers review, and happy skirmishing.